Hello, everyone. Good evening. We will wait for a couple of minutes for more people to join in and then start. Till the time we wait, my name is Ulka, and I would love to know where you are joining from. And we also have Surya here, who is our panelist today. Surya, would you like to share where you're joining us from?
I'm joining from Bangalore.
Great. So we'd love to hear from everyone who is on our webinar today in the chat where you are joining us from. We'll wait for a minute more and then begin with our conversation today with Surya. Today's participants are a little shy. They don't want to tell us where they're joining us from. Not to worry. I am in Delhi. Surya is in Bangalore. I think we cover two metro cities. All right. A very warm welcome to everyone joining us today for our webinar with our learner Surya, and he will be talking and they will be talking about how AMP helped them scale up the leadership ladder. A very warm welcome, Surya. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
Hi. Yeah, very excited, slightly nervous. But yeah, excited nonetheless.
Not to worry. Well, we're just here talking about Surya's experience with AMP and how he was in a leadership position, also transitioned to another leadership position. And we're here to talk about what role did AMP play in that. So let's get started. And I think, Surya, it would help everyone know about your background a little bit, share your story with us in brief.
So hi everyone. I'm Surya. My pronouns are they, them. So I'm a graphic designer and architecture and I started doing this for like 8 years ago. Drawing, sketching, and loving what I did. And I started my own small design agency back in 2016 with one of my college mates, and we ran that for like 4 years, and it was a fun experience being entrepreneur and all that. And then we decided to get more experience working in other places, and I joined a D2C company and played a leadership role as the creative director for the company. And after that, now I have moved to a agency called Red Baton, and right now I'm the I'm one of the art directors over here. Yeah, so that has been my design journey and who I am. Yeah, that's who I am basically.
Wow, that's quite a journey. And you've
Yeah.
been in the design field for so long, right? Well, you said 6 to 7 years, but also you
Yes.
studied for 5 years in architecture. So I'm
Yes.
adding that to your experience as well. Um, because well, it's like it's a long time to study and
It is a long time. Yeah.
yeah. So Surya, what made you decide, that it's time to upskill? And how did you come across AMP and you thought that it's a good fit for you?
Hmm. Um, while I was working in the D2C startup, I was managing a lot of things over there, because obviously startups with small teams, you don't just play the role that you are assigned to, right? You do a lot of other things. And one of the things that I felt like I had to improve or learn was better leadership and better management. And that was something I was little not very actively searching for, but was in the back of my head. And when AMP came to my, through ads and all that, I had come across AMP, and I reached out, and it felt like the right type of course that I needed. I didn't want to do a 2-year MBA course to make my management skills better. I didn't want to leave my job to make my management skills better, but at the same time I wanted the high quality faculty, right? So this was a perfect balance from what I could see. And someone I really looked up to, which is Siddharth, was a part of the team who taught marketing, and that was someone I had always looked up to in my career, and to actually be taught by him was a big deal for me. So yeah, so once I learned about the faculty and learned about who's behind it, it was a quite open and shut case for me. It's like, okay, it makes sense to start join AMP and start learning how to become a better leader. So that is how my decision was made.
Like most of our learners, right?
Yes.
Not wanting to go for that full-time MBA and wanting to simultaneously learn and earn is the motivation. Well, just to let everyone know, Siddharth Menon that Surya was talking about, he's our lead marketing faculty, and he's the ex-CMO for Epigamia, and I think which is why a lot of our learners are very attracted to him, because he talks about the Epigamia story and talks about how the branding, how the marketing strategy worked for not just that, but Colgate and other products that he's worked on. So thank you for bringing that up, Surya. I think I would like to make a slight shift towards, the common ground between design and management. Firstly, do you think there is a common ground? And if so, what is?
So when you are a graphic designer, definitely in a lot of cases, graphic designers are self-sufficient people in most companies. Like they have to understand what is the company's goals and responsibilities and all that. And there is definitely a little bit of management that comes in. But when you are trying to become ambitious in your roles as a graphic designer, if you want to become an art director, if you want to be a creative director, right? It definitely helps so much to be a good manager also, because being an art director is not just about designing, it's about designing with a team under you. It is about making sure the team grows and becomes better. And there is a lot of mentorship work that you are doing. There's a lot of management work you are doing, but at the same time you are still a designer and designing stuff. So when you are climbing up the ladder in the designing landscape, definitely management skills are very important. And usually what you see is these skills are just picked up and learned through experience. But I feel nowadays, with the fast paced career that is going, actually reaching out and learning management helps a lot nowadays.
Yeah, very well.
Mm.
A team requires management of people, and you need management education for it. But what would you say about freelance graphic designers or freelance designers in general? Do they require some kind of management learning? Because while they're not
Absolutely.
managing a team, but they are managing other things, right?
Yes, absolutely. So in terms of freelance, they are a service provider themselves, right? And they need to learn to market themselves. So marketing comes very important. They need to know to brand themselves. So branding comes very important. They need to know how to manage their time. They need to know how to network. They need to know how to, talk to a client properly, solve problems properly. These are all key management skills that you learn in a management course. Like if there is a problem, how do you solve it? If there is a deadline, how do you talk about it? How do you negotiate? These are all things that are very, very few freelance graphic designers actually are good with. And learning management really helps you become a better freelancer, very obviously, in my opinion.
Very well put. Surya, now I would like to go back to, your motivation to join AMP, that you said you wanted to become a better leader. Now, honestly, what throughout your 6-month journey, which tracks, what is it that helped you? Firstly, are you a better leader? What, if yes, then how did you become a better leader? And what were the aspects of AMP that helped you become a better leader? Well, that was a very wordy
I,
question, but I hope
yeah.
you.
I hope I am. I hope I am a better leader now. Now that I have learned with them. But um, to me, becoming a better leader, especially while joining AMP, was basically to understand when you are moving from teams of 4 to 5 people to teams of 15, 20 people, right? That is where the challenge of like multiple people, multiple things to manage comes up. And to understand how to actually manage that is where I wanted to learn. That means making sure that my fundamentals are in place properly. Maybe while managing 5 people, I just managed by experience, but maybe my fundamentals were wrong. And I did learn that my fundamentals were wrong in a lot of places, like in classes with Pramath and all my leadership tracks, especially. I could understand where I could have put something better, spoke something better, and things like that. That is definitely there. And for sure, if you are a creative, you are trying to make the company more money. Obviously, that's your big role. And to understand the company's workings also makes a lot of sense in terms of how you design for the company and for marketing.
Right. I think one of the important points that you mentioned that, you thought your fundamentals were in place, but
Mm,
you realized that they weren't as you were going through the program. Um,
right.
uh, it's a very common, we think that management may be a very commonsensical step to
Yes, I agree.
doing things and working with people and running a company, but it actually isn't, right? I think that's one of
Correct.
the key takeaways from your response that I'm taking, is that
Yes.
management education, it's not commonsensical, but it is somewhere that is need to be studied, to worked upon. It helps you learn new skills which are required to run an organization, a team, or yourself, for that matter, right?
100%.
Right.
Yes.
So, Surya, you were talking about, your class with Pramath, with Sid, with so many others. What about your peers? Were they of any help to you?
Yeah. There were not many designers in my course. It was very
Surya,
clear.
just to mention everybody, Surya was the sole designer, and I think so far they've been the only designer in the whole of AMP, if I can say.
Yeah. Um, but what I did learn was like how people looked at design. And from what I see is the current generation of management people value design so much more than maybe what the past might have, right? And to understand that made me understand like how much more value that I can bring to the new age companies that are coming up right now and all that. And there is definitely lots of praise, appreciation for work that I do. And definitely how to say, it didn't, like, even though I was the sole designer, I didn't feel away from home. Like I didn't feel like the uh, alone person. Like it was it was not lonely for me. There were a lot of people who were like very open to talking to me and giving me feedback, and like it was great.
And if I can just mention here, as a program manager, something that I noticed about Surya is that they had a very strong perspective on everything. Like, I think Surya was one of the most involved in terms of reading and knowing about things, and just active on WhatsApp or in group discussions and stuff like that. So I think it was just amazing, and maybe that's why they did not feel so alone, because Surya had like some or the other tidbit knowledge of everything. On that note, Surya, we have a question in the Q&A.
Mhm.
Can you talk of mini and capstone projects you were part of during AMP, and how does the community/peer dynamic works?
What's a capstone project, like what we did in the end? Is that one?
Yes, something like
Ah,
did for the leadership track.
okay. So for the like for marketing tracks, so I was working in a D2C startup, right? And for the marketing start, we basically did a complete marketing strategy for the startup that I was working for and how we can help it. And like it was extremely eye-opening how different, like if you work with different people, the approach, the ideas, the questions that are asked about the uh, the company and the work is so different and it's complete different perspective. That is something that was very different, and also it didn't feel like an assignment, honestly, right? I was trying to actually build some kind of a plan for a marketing plan. Might not have been executed, right? But still it was a serious plan that we had to come up with. It was the same with the leadership track also for am I allowed to talk about what we did in the leadership track?
Yes, please,
Yes,
absolutely. Go
okay.
ahead.
So in leadership track we had to create a complete business plan for a company called Indus, right? Very cleverly named, and it was a school that helped. It was not similar to Harappa, let's say. The naming is not a coincidence. So yeah, so it
Maybe
was
not too many
so.
details.
So it was very amazing that all the six teams had such different approaches to the thing. And yeah, that really opens you up, right? Like when you're in your bubble with your 5-member team in your office, you don't really see these 6 7 different approaches for the same problem. And that's something I saw in AMP, and that was definitely a big thing. And the community peer dynamic, I have to say it was great. We had a WhatsApp group. We spoke. We are like quite good friends now that we all talk. And sadly I couldn't meet a lot of them in real life because all the things happened in Delhi and I was in Bangalore or Chennai at the time, right? But when I could meet them, it was amazing. I just met them like a month ago and it was great. Met a bunch of people there. So the community dynamic is definitely amazing, and I think tries to actively make sure it happens. So that's something that's great in MP.
Yeah, that's and to add to that, it's very admirable of their cohort, and I think it's a very cohort to cohort specific dynamic that learners have with each other. So the essentially the community and the peer aspect is built by the learners, the peers. So something very special about their cohort was that they are active, like they meet each other, they are friends, as Surya was saying. Recently I was in Bangalore. I got to meet Surya for the first time and it was absolutely amazing. Some of them keep coming to our office, so it's absolutely wonderful to see that camaraderie from an online education program. And also to add to the mini and capstone projects, we essentially don't do one capstone project which will look at all tracks all together, but I think something like a leadership track assignment, as we call it, but it's essentially a project that you're working on in a team, are to solve business problems, to create a marketing plan, to develop a product, to build on an existing product in the product track, to apply data related concepts to a data set that you may want to bring in. So these are the kind of projects, maybe coming up with an entrepreneurial idea, and sometimes also getting encouraged by the faculty to
Faculty
seek
to, yeah.
funding for it. So these are the kinds of things that may happen, and very exciting. And to just share with everyone, and maybe with you as well, Surya, I think you missed out on the product sessions that
Yeah,
we
little bit.
we were introduced with Nikhil Gambhir, and he is bringing in a
Oh,
project where he has asked everyone to develop a product, and he is going to bring in experts from the field, the three
wow,
industries that
nice.
he's defined and then he'll grade it and may have opportunity to take it forward. So these are the kinds of things that are happening in terms of projects, in terms of community. We also do meetups, as Surya was saying, especially in Delhi, because Delhi is our base, our office is here. So we do meetups, and I think there's just a lot happening, which probably we can't sum up in just 5 minutes, but I've tried to as much as possible. Let's, I think, keep on mentioning your questions in the Q&A. We would love to hear more of them. In the meanwhile, Surya, I think I have one more question about, how are you as a leader in your own entrepreneurial venture, and how are you as a leader at an organization which is not yours? You're a director there, right? So what's the difference that you see? Because,
Okay. So in the entrepreneurial venture, definitely I was quite young, inexperienced, and didn't know a lot of times, didn't know what I'm doing, figuring it out as I go, right? But now 8 years of work later after college and all that, right now it's quite different in terms of how you approach problems. You have a structure already in place in your mind. You already have a plan in mind. You know for what problem, what solution you're going to, what kind of solution you're going to apply. And all these things are made even better with understanding, those proper frameworks of how to deal with problems, how to talk with people and all that. Right. So that is definitely something that has changed. But I think that is more because of time than the difference of working in an entrepreneurial setup and working for a company. Right. But I think a big difference is that in the entrepreneurial setup, there is a lot that goes on your shoulder personally, right? So sorry. Yeah, so there is a lot that is on your shoulder, and that's a lot of responsibility to hold on. And I don't think that's for everyone. I don't think it was for me also. So to not have such responsibility, but have specific responsibility that you are very good at figuring out, that was great for me. Just 1 minute.
All right, by the time that Surya comes back to us, why don't we hear from our participants whether there are any designers with us in the chat box. We would love to know what background you're coming from. And if you have any specific question for Surya, please put them in the chat box, or sorry, put them in the Q&A so that we can pick them up immediately. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so that's the thing. It's a lot of responsibility when you are in an entrepreneurial role. It's not just your life. You are responsible for a bunch of your teammates, careers, lives, livelihoods, and it's a responsibility that it's not for everyone, and it wasn't for me, which I'm very open and honest about. But I'm proud that I actually tried out and went into the mud and got my hands dirty, right? But yeah, so if you are someone who has that entrepreneurial zeal in you, but that level of responsibility might not be something that you are comfortable with, right? Management roles where you are allowed to express your entrepreneurial spirit, like I learned that word intrapreneur. Being an intrapreneur in the office is going to be amazingly exciting, because it's not going to be as stressful as being responsible for so many people, but at the same time you are still innovating and learning and bringing in new things, and you're not caged in as a person, definitely. So that's also there.
Oh, amazing. Are you an entrepreneur at your current organization?
I am trying to be. I hope I am.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Can you share some experience of it? Or is it still under the wraps?
It's only been 2.5 months since I joined the organization. So yeah, it takes some time. So, but hopefully, as time goes, I contribute a lot, bring a lot of value to this company.
Right. Surya, I think I would love to understand your perspective on, design principles and management principles. Since you've studied both, I would love to understand, is there any overlap in these principles, or do you use, as we've studied design thinking in the management in AMP, was there any similarity about design thinking, or is there a difference, or do you use them in your strategizing and planning and executing your work?
So here's the thing: design is 80% problem solving. You have a problem, you need to solve it. You might need to make it look really good. So that's designing. And to solve a problem, there are a lot of different directions that you can take. Lot of different directions that you can take, right? But what really matters is you have a process and you understand what the problem is properly, you identify the problem properly, and all these are very basic management skills that you need to solve. So it's pretty straightforward.
Can you give an instance of a problem that you recently solved?
For example, let's say there is a marketing problem, right? I'm not able to sell a certain hoodie or a t-shirt, right? And you have tried making it really creative, really beautiful, and trying to show but people are not buying. So what we understood was, like, when you're trying to sell a product to people, if the people don't believe that the product is real online, and like, this is a product that I can hold and feel and touch and understand that it is a real product, they will not buy it. So we ditched the overly designed approach, and we went with a very grounded phone video approach, and that was great, and it worked really well, and it started selling a lot. And that was a place where, like, you understood the problem first. The problem was actually people are not able to understand the product exactly how it should be, and you solved it.
So essentially using the problem definition and structuring frameworks that you learned in leadership. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so weird though, because you would think that as designers you will bring in innovation and creativity and so on and so forth, but at the end of the day you just end up going back to the basics.
Yeah.
And I think that's one aspect of AMP, is that we are clearing out fundamentals. We are ensuring that foundation, the base that you create, is built strong, and then you build on other skills, if for whatever skills that you want to learn. Maybe you want to go deep dive into data, you might want to deep dive into product and so many other things. So we build this foundation, and then it's your journey on how you take the learnings from AMP forward. So Surya, now we've, I think, focused a lot on the leadership track, the marketing track. But what about the career office? Was that in any way helpful to you?
I think the biggest positive for me from AMP was the career office, honestly. And because it taught me exactly what recruiters are looking for, how can I give that to the recruiters? Like, you might have a great portfolio as a designer, you might have a great experience as a designer, but unless you can translate that into a resume, which is very important, and answer the questions properly in an interview, which is also very important, you will not be a prime candidate, right? So having a great portfolio, having a great experience might not be enough. What is more important is to know what these recruiters are looking for. And I think AMP told me exactly what they were looking for. And I think my resume got accepted by like 8, 9, 10 recruiters in like a span of a month, and which did not happen a month ago when all my career thing was not done, right? So that's an improvement that was drastically noticeable for me.
Right. And I think, were you also involved in the mock interview process?
Yes. The
Yeah.
mock interviews are amazing. So I got to have mock interviews with Archit and Shiv. So these two people are some of the creatives in Harappa. Amazing, amazing creatives. Shiv was my mentor also in Harappa, and truly I look up to them a lot, and they helped me a lot with the mock interviews and with the the career panels that they helped me, and with the mentorship also.
Yeah, I think just to clarify to everyone, the career office process is throughout the AMP journey, where you're working on your resume, you're working on you get coaching. Ratan and Shayak, who are our in-house coaches, and you get mock interview sessions from various panelists, a variety of interviewers, so that you are not restricted to only one kind of interview. And you also have these group sessions on how to prepare, how to read a JD, and how to prepare for an interview. And so, like, it's basically a full-on 6 months packed, a very hectic, but a very fruitful journey, if I can say so, because even though as a program manager, I feel like I've learned a lot myself, having gone through AMP twice. But Surya, how did you manage your time, during AMP?
Mm.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
definitely.
sweat
Yeah, so
form.
this is something I have to say upfront. AMP is not going to be easy. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be difficult, because you will be working along with your job, right? Okay. You'll be working along with your job. You'll be studying with your job. You will have two assignments, one from the job, one from AMP, and two teams to manage. One your team in AMP, one your team in the job, right? But it really it really makes you prepare for the real management world, right? And that's something was very crucial for me, is that I had to see what the actual management world would look like, and this was a very small glimpse into that. And I don't and that was very valuable for me. And yeah, so definitely it's going to take you have to put in time into it, you have to put in effort into it, and it's going to be difficult. But I think it is designed to be a tough program for people to come out really, really great. I wouldn't say it is like tough in the terms of like physically stressful, but stressful and all, because I feel AMP really takes care of making sure the calendars are balanced in a way that it doesn't get too stressful, but at the same time it's going to challenge you a lot. And I did challenge me a lot. I did have times when I was like, oh, will I be able to submit this assignment on time? Will I be able to finish this data assignment on time? Do I have so all those questions will come, but you manage in the end. And that was a good experience for me to understand, to actually go through challenges with the course.
It's like a you are letting go of that sigh of relief after 6 months. And to be
For
honest,
sure.
it's not just the learners that feel it. I, as a program manager and part of the program team, also feel it, because
I
it's
understand.
constantly back to back that we are doing stuff. And
Yeah.
it's exciting, it's very energy filled, and not just that the classes are happening and career office and etc., but some learners in Surya's cohort also came up with a newsletter, which is like an additional
Oh
project
my
that we
God,
wanted to
yes.
take up. We also had learners speak. Do you remember, Surya, the first learner
The
speak?
first learner speak.
Yeah, we
It
took
was
up
for me.
your company's example,
Brand. Yes, exactly.
and we worked on it all together and came up with strategies on how to help Surya, earn more money. If I can put that. But yeah,
Straightforward. Exactly.
straightforward. But that's what's happening at AMP. So if you want to know more, please put your questions in the Q&A box. I will quickly launch a poll to know if there are people here who are attending the webinar, if you would like to know more about AMP, please click on yes, and the admission team will get in touch with you. Other than that, if you have any questions specific to Surya, you can let us know in the Q&A or in the chat box. We are looking at it carefully. And if you have any questions for me, please put them up as well. We are here for some more time. We are here for 5 more minutes. And yeah, Surya, do you have a question for me?
How, so so you spoke about the product faculty, which I was not able to. How many more like new faculties have come? What do they do? I would like to know about that, I guess.
So the new faculty that we have onboarded are pretty much the same. This sessions with Nikhil Gambhir are like a simulation sessions, which we've done in addition to what before did with fundamentals, added some case study and some project basis work. Apart from that, we are onboarding a new faculty for operations track, Professor Prabhu Agarwal, who you all will be introduced to very, very soon, hopefully. And otherwise, all our faculty are still the same. Pramath is there for leadership. We have Shampa, we have Professor Vijay, who are still the faculty for leadership. We have Sid Menon and Vinita and Ankit for marketing, Vibhor for product, Tushar for data, and Saurabh for entrepreneurship. We have Professor Baba is coming back. He had a accident, a health emergency, so he couldn't come back for cohort 2, but he's coming back for the next cohort. Then who am I missing out on? Somebody I'm missing out on. Oh, Ankur and Sarthak for finance.
Nice.
Absolutely amazing people. So yeah,
Sarthak is great. Sarthak was one of my favorite faculties in the entire. I never thought I would like finance. But Sarthak made me like finance, and that's a achievement beyond anything you can add. I do not care. He's a ISB topper. His biggest achievement is making me like finance.
I think that's the case for majority of you, that he's made like majority of you like finance. And I think same for Tushar, he made majority of you like data and work with numbers.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest achievement for them. All right. So we have 3 yeses, and hopefully we get a few more yeses by the end of the session. So Surya, just a last parting question for you. What are 3 takeaways or, maybe advice that you would give to designers who are looking to, take up management education, and what are your thoughts on it?
I guess number 1 is if you're going to take management, understand that your design skills is not what you're going to be working on in management. I think a lot of people will come in with the kind of misconception that their design skills might improve. It's your management skills, it's the things that go around your design that is extremely very crucial, that is going to improve, and that's something that you need to definitely put a lot of effort on. That's number 1. Number 2 is discipline and structuring in work is extremely crucial, and management will teach you that. That's very important also. And number 3 is that even designers are like professionals. We would like to think of ourselves as artists and creatives and away from the work professional world. And like, I don't think so. That's a wrong mindset, in my opinion. We are also professionals. We should also understand how to build a career and build a, if you're an entrepreneur person, build your own business, sell yourself really well, understand how to negotiate. So these are things that designers should also learn. We should not think of ourselves as the artists who are like the rebels and all that. Like, we are still career professionals. We need to live lives, and management is a very important thing to learn to do that. So I wish you guys all do that.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. So it's well, the creativity and innovation doesn't stop you from working, and you are in the real world surrounded by so many factors, and you are, if you're part of an organization, management skills are something that you will eventually need. And even if you're not a part of any organization and planning to build your own thing, as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, well, maybe management is the next skill that you might want to build up on. So please check out our website, check out our LinkedIn page. You can know more about AMP. Surya, can people get in touch with you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. I think
Please.
you can drop the LinkedIn link,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yes. So Surya, you can get in touch with Surya. They'll help you out, understand more about AMP. If you were hesitant to ask any questions, here you can definitely ask Surya on LinkedIn. Before we go out, I think there is a quick question that maybe we can answer. Okay, I'll just try to read it out. Could you please evaluate out all about the pass out cohort professional, what they are contributing to their expertise, and it should be shown through the social media platforms. That is remarkable growth, what he has before and after completion of the AMP. All right, so it's a suggestion that has come up that if I'm understanding it correctly, that we put out all the cohorts that have passed out, and how the learners have grown, what growth they have achieved on our social media platforms.
I think we already do that, no?
Yeah, we already do that. We put out if someone has gotten a promotion, if they have sourced an opportunity for themselves, switched industries, gotten a new job, if we place them, all of that data keeps going out on our Instagram as well as on our LinkedIn page. But if you have a different kind of suggestion that you're trying to make, and I hope I have understood your question correctly. If not, please let me know in the chat. If I've understood your question correctly, we already put it out, but if there is something more that we can put out, please let us know. And we would be happy to work on it and get back to you on how that goes. So yeah, thank you so much, Surya, for joining in. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Absolutely, anytime. We love to have you and all of our alumni.
Someday I'll come to Delhi someday.
Yeah, someday
I'll
you
meet
have
all you
to.
guys.
Yeah, you have to. We've already spoken on when that can be possible.
Yeah.
So I am so looking forward to seeing you again, and looking forward to seeing our participants as learners for the Accelerated Management Program. Signing off for today evening, and hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye.